You know, every single second, there's this silent, epic story unfolding inside of you. So today, let's pull back the curtain on the incredible life and death of a single cell, a drama that happens trillions of times a day just to keep you alive.
Just think about that number for a second. 2 trillion. That's not just a big number, it's astronomical. We're talking more than 200 times the number of stars in our entire galaxy. And your body does this every single day without you even having to think about it. So how in the world does your body pull that off?
So yeah, we're gonna follow one of these cells on its remarkable journey. And trust me, this isn't your standard high school biology lesson. This is a story of creation, duplication, and ultimately sacrifice that plays out constantly just to keep you going. All right, so where does this all start? What's the call to adventure for a cell? I mean, why bother dividing at all? Well, it really boils down to 3 vital missions. First up, growth. I mean, you're not the same size you were as a baby, right? That's all thanks to cell division. Then there's repair. You get a paper cut, that's your cells dividing to patch things up. And finally, just simple replacement. Cells get old, they wear out, and new ones have to take their place. Cell division is the engine that drives all of this. Okay, but a cell can't just, split in half. It's not that simple. Nope. Before it can do anything, it has to tackle one of the most critical jobs in all of biology, perfectly copying its most precious cargo. And that precious cargo? It's DNA. Seriously, think of it like the ultimate, super detailed instruction manual for you. So here's where it gets tricky. You can't just tear that manual in half and give one piece to each new cell. Each new cell needs its own perfect copy. We're talking flawless. Even one little typo, one missing page, that could be a total disaster. The stakes are incredibly high. This whole incredible process is called DNA replication. First up, in what's called initiation, the DNA basically unzips itself, kind of like a jacket. Next, in elongation, this whole crew of molecular machines gets to work, building a new matching strand for each of the original halves. And boom, termination. The job is done. You now have 2 perfect copies of the blueprint ready to go.
All right, so we've got 2 perfect copies of the DNA. Now the cell is ready for the main event, creating a perfect clone of itself. And this whole process, this really organized dance, has a name: mitosis.
Mitosis is the real workhorse of your body. Its whole purpose in life is to take one cell and turn it into 2 genetically identical daughter cells. This is how you grow, this is how you heal. And it really is like a dance. It's so methodical. First, all that copied DNA gets packed up super tight into these things we call chromosomes, and they become visible. Then they all line up, right down the middle of the cell, super organized. Then whoosh, the identical copies get pulled to opposite ends of the cell. And for the grand finale, the cell just pinches in the middle and splits into 2 brand new, perfect cells, each with its own complete instruction manual. But wait, making perfect clones isn't the only story a cell can tell. There's this other path, and it's not about making copies at all. No, this one is all about shuffling the genetic deck to create something totally new. This is the key to the next generation. In this special process, it's called meiosis. Its one and only job is to create sperm and egg cells. So, yeah, we're not talking about healing a cut anymore. This is about the future of the entire species. So meiosis is a bit more complex. It's a 2-parter. In the first round, something totally wild happens. The chromosome pairs cozy up and literally swap pieces of genetic code. This is where all that genetic shuffling happens. Then they go through a second division, and what you end up with is 4 totally unique cells, each with just half the normal amount of DNA. It's all about creating variety. Okay, so let's just put it all side by side to make it super clear. You've got mitosis for growth and repair, that's 1 division, and you get 2 identical cells. Then you've got meiosis, which is just for making gametes, sperm and eggs. That one takes 2 divisions, and you end up with 4 unique cells that are all different from each other. So the bottom line is, mitosis makes clones, meiosis makes variety. Simple as that. But the story of a cell doesn't always end with making more cells. Sometimes the most important, the most heroic thing a cell can do is die. And I'm not talking about a messy, chaotic death. I'm talking about a quiet, programmed, almost noble end.
This process is called apoptosis, and yeah, it's basically a cellular self-destruct sequence. But don't think of it like an explosion. It's clean, it's quiet. It's an incredibly orderly process where a cell just dismantles itself for the good of the team.
And this is not a bad thing. It's actually absolutely essential. I mean, apoptosis is the reason you don't have webbed fingers and toes. It's the sculptor that carved those spaces out. It's the little security guard inside you that gets rid of cells that could become cancerous. It's the cleanup crew that takes out the old, worn-out cells without making a mess. Really, it's the ultimate act of teamwork for a cell.
Which, of course, brings us to a really important question. This whole system, this elegant dance between life and death, it's a super delicate balance. So what happens when that balance gets thrown off? What happens when cells just refuse to stop dividing? Or when the bad cells forget how to die? The answer to that question, well, it's not just some textbook trivia. It's at the very heart of understanding some of the most serious diseases we face, like cancer.